Welcome to the Novel Universe with your hostesses Ashley and Dawn. We rate and review the newest and most buzzworthy books. We are true book club girls who don't always agree but do enjoy a good book discussion. I'm Ashley, the fantasy architect.
And I'm Dawn, the criticizer of books.
Grab your favorite beverage and come and enjoy our universe. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Novel Universe with your hostesses Ashley and Dawn. We are currently going through our top 5 best books of the year and our top 5 worst, but today we're going to talk about our top 5, which are, some of them are from the pod and some of them are not, because Dawn and I read books individually as well throughout the year. So this is just kind of a fun one to see what our favorite books were for 2022. And a few of the books that are going to be on each of our lists, we have done podcasts about. So if you are curious as to what our thoughts were as to why we liked it more in depth, you can go ahead and give it a listen over in the Novel Universe podcast world. And we'll tell you when they are a part of them, so you know, so you're not just like searching for a book and you're like, hey, son, I did it. No, we didn't. Over here. So we're going to start with our our bottom 5th, but like of the all-time favorite books that we've read this year. So Dawn, what was in your 5th spot of your favorite book of the year?
Well, first I would like to do a little bragging. Don has read 81 books so far. By the time we are recording, it is like end of November, right before Thanksgiving. So yay for me, pat on the back for me. So like last year I had only read like 30 something, and it was really hard to pick because I had only read 30, but it was a lot easier this time because I read more books. All right. Mm-hmm. A lot of these, actually I'm lying. This first book was published last year, I think. So my 5th top 5 of the year was The Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. This is science fiction fantasy. Did you read The Black Sun?
No, but I heard you talk about it.
Yeah. All right. So this, I think, was published in 2020, one of those. And it is basically about this new world. It's pre-Columbian. I can't remember how it's described. And it's pre-Columbian Americas. And it is the winter solstice, and everyone is about to party. However, there is a prophecy that says that something is going to come and destroy things, wreak havoc, if you will. So it's basically about 3 characters, 3 POVs. One is an oracle, and she talks about, she talks about prophecies of the world. And there's a lot of astrology in her job, if you will. Then there's a woman who is kind of, she is a captain of a ship, and she is transporting the person that has been tasked to end the world as they know it. And it is fascinating because it is a world that I have never read before. So anytime I find a book where I have not read the characters before, I have not seen this world before, I am instantly on board. I'm like, yes, I love this. So the world was different. The characters were fascinating. This world has all kinds of races, but they don't really, it's a fantasy world, so they don't say black or Hispanic, or they don't say that. They're like more like classed differently, but their skin tones vary. There's different sexual orientations. There's a person who is masquerading as a hero, but maybe they're really a villain. It's just all kinds of characters. It's all kind of fascinating. I did not like book 2, but I highly recommend book 1.
Classic Dawn moment for you.
Classic Dawn, hated book 2.
Yeah, she literally does not like book 2. And then sometimes she'll get it up her butt and she'll actually read book 3 and she'll go, just get past it, it's fine. This is a super rare occasion for her to do so. But it's awesome. I did not read that book personally, but just add it to the pile.
Pretty much.
So my top 5, or my 5th book that I really enjoyed this year. Ashley went on a, let me just preface, Ashley went on a spicy talk recommendation extravaganza. So a lot of my books are definitely from ones that I've seen on Spicy Book Talk. Honestly, and it was just to get out of like my fantasy world reading, like big characters, like whole, but it's exhausting sometimes, you guys. Like, it's a commitment to read a fantasy world driven book. Like, it really is. So don't judge me. But my 5th book here that I really liked is called Pestilence by Laura Thalassa. It's the Four Horsemen series. And so this particular series is based off of the 4 horsemen that biblically come when the world is going to end. But they're coming, wreaking havoc on the world. And this particular book, our main protagonist like tries to kill the horseman Pestilence, and of course he can't die because he is what would you say,
Already
how do you
dead,
say that?
right?
What is that word?
They're already dead, aren't they?
Huh?
They're already dead, aren't they?
Yeah, but they're immortal. Like they
okay.
can't die. There it is. Like
Okay.
they can't die. They just keep coming back to life because they're going to continue to bring out, the wreckage throughout the world or whatever. So she tries to kill him. He's like, don't you understand that you can't kill me? Like, I'm just gonna keep coming back. But he like shows mercy on her, which is weird and very out of character because he's spreading this disease throughout the land that's just killing people over and over and over again. And it's about their relationship, and he has to ultimately make a decision as to if he's going to continue to spread God's wrath or continue to live a human life. So yeah, Don would say it's booty, but that's okay. Ashley thought it was great.
You don't know.
You totally would. You totally would. You'd be like, I saw this from a mile away. I knew it was going to happen. And you know what? That's okay. I knew too. I knew it was going to happen. And I was okay with this moment when I made this commitment. But it was good.
Well, as long as you liked it, then I love it.
Exactly. Hence why I have not recommended you to read this book, because I know you will read it.
Yeah. All right. My number 4 was The Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel. This is science fiction, and it is about 3 different time periods. So we have 1918, 2020, and 2260. And by the time we are in 2260, people have taken up residence on the moon. And it is about in each decade or century or whatever, the main character in each time period, each of them have witnessed the same weird anomaly at the exact same time. So it's kind of centered around this weird blip that has happened, and they don't understand. And we have this guy who is a time traveler. He's jumping through time periods to try and figure out what this blip is, what caused it, and why. Mm-hmm. One thing that each of these time periods have in common, I don't know if you caught it, you may have, is that there is a pandemic on each one of those time periods, including 2260. There's also a pandemic. And so this book is ultimately about time, and although it changes, it really doesn't, because we still keep having pandemics. Why does that keep happening? If we're so smart and we've evolved, we should be able to see it coming, and our behavior should change and all this stuff, but it really doesn't. So this book is it was hard to kind of understand what was going on in the book. I was kind of struggling a little bit. However, I like the struggle. It makes me happy when I don't understand what's happening in a good way. But if you really like time travel, and you like a lot of themes, then I would highly recommend it. Like, it's
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of brain power. This is a lot of note taking. This is a lot of stopping and thinking and discussing. I'd probably read it with another person. It's probably more of a buddy read or a book club read, so you can talk about it. But I do highly recommend it. Beautiful writing. I have not read her other books, but I would like to go back, and because I believe her other books they're all kind of connected in some way. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I recommend it.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
I'm in. I'm over here like, tell me more. Okay, so so my fourth book that I really liked for the year, we did a podcast on this book. Dawn did not like this book.
Ooh,
So
I already know what it is. I think
do you? Do
maybe
you?
not.
Okay. Anyway, this for me, like all year round, I've been trying to find a book for our podcast that like it just like sends me where I like can't put it down. Like I want to keep listening to it to see what happened. And so my fourth book of the year that I really liked was Spells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young.
Yeah.
Dawn did not like this one at all. And so listen to our podcast because you'll hear why we differ just in our rating. But just want to preface that like this is why Dawn and I like do podcasts. Like we really like talking about books. I always want to know if I'm gonna get her, like if I'm gonna get her to like a book that I like pick. It's kind of like a hidden thing that I'm trying to do.
Well, I like Adrienne
Sometimes.
Young's book, so it wasn't like
Right.
you picked it and I was like, ew. I was excited for this book too.
Yes, very true. She was. She really was. I was like, I thought this book was absolutely amazing. So this book, it's got this haunting like atmosphere, or ominous atmosphere of so I can't pronounce the name of the island.
Oh, Sorsha.
Sorsha, thank you. So it's basically there was a murder a long time ago, and the whole island is like thriving off of this like apple orchard that like kind of sustains the island's tourist attraction. That's why people come to the island. That's why they spend their money there or whatever. And this island literally only has this orchard. There was a ginormous fire. Someone died, and they're trying to figure out who done it. But there's like been this weird like foursome of friends that all know something but don't know something, whatever. There's a little bit of hearth magic going on as well. So it's not what you would expect though, like hearth, like more ancestral magic. It's not like super fantasy driven, if you will. Like it sounds like it's going to be, but it's not. It's very much so a fiction book with ancestral like magic and whatnot. So I really liked it. It was a book I could not put down. I think I gave this book a 4.5 because I was extremely happy with this book. Dawn did not like it.
Nope.
But Adrienne Young, I love her. I'm all for it 100%. Her characters just come to life when you read anything by her. And just the whole entire tone of this book, that's the number one thing I want to talk about. The tone of the book, you just felt like you were there living and breathing on this island. It was just like it was coming off the page into the room with you. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's my fourth one.
My number 3 is All My Rage by Sabaa Tahir. This book recently won the National Book Award. It is YA. We have been forgetting to say which books are YA and which books are adults. I should say that.
Sorry, that last one was YA.
No, it's not.
Spells
for Forgetting is adult, girlfriend.
Adult. Yeah, it's adult, even though it's not. Yeah. Anyway,
it's adult.
Continue.
The main characters are in their 30s, so that's adult.
Right.
My number 5, Black Sun, is adult. Sea of Tranquility is also adult. All My Rage is YA, and it is about 2 South Asian American teens, and they are dealing with our main character. His mother has passed away. His father is an alcoholic, and he has to try and run their hotel business by himself. Mm-hmm. And his best friend, Nora, she is also a South Asian American, and she is just trying to go to college, but her uncle, who is her caretaker, is making it very difficult for her to do that. And her and the main character, I can't remember his name. Tariq, I think, or something like that. He, they
Yeah.
have fallen out for various reasons, and it's really just about these teens dealing with some very heavy trauma. So,
Right.
if you loved The Ember and the Ashes, this is not going to be anything like The Ember and the Ashes. So, do not go in this rethinking that it's going to be fantasy, or even though Ember and the Ashes wasn't light by any means, it had some pretty heavy themes in that book too. But this book
Mm-hmm.
is contemporary and it is tough, as in very heavy in theme, very heavy topics. So, but it's very well done, very well written. It was something that I don't read a lot in realistic fiction for YA. I am a teen librarian, so I do read my fair share of contemporary, and this had a lot of themes that I have not seen in a really long time in YA, and it was done very well.
Mm-hmm. Well, no surprise. That was my number 3 as well.
Woohoo!
So I agree with everything Dawn said. With that one, this was just Saba just really surprised us as a writer in reading this book, because Dawn and I both were like, smitten kittens when Ember and the Ashes came out. It was one of our favorite like fantasy books like that year. And then we kind of were a little bit disappointed just with the end of that series. And we were kind of looking to retire Saba's like jersey type of thing. And this, I feel like she did such a great job. Again, this book just evokes so many feelings and emotions that I feel like some really good writing is lacking. And you just really felt for these characters and just for what they were personally going through. And it's a heavy topic book, but it's topics that honestly should be written about.
Yeah.
Totally agree. So kudos to you, Saba. Great job on that. All right, getting into our top 2. Are you ready?
Top 2. Woo! All right.
Okay, so
Who's next? Me or you? It's me.
I'll do it.
It's my turn.
You just did your top 3.
Yeah, I go first and then you go. We just happen to have the same top
Fine.
3.
Fine. I will wait.
All right. My number 2, it has not been published yet, so there you go. It is Five Survive by Holly Jackson. I think it's either published at the end of November or beginning of December. I'm not quite sure. And Holly Jackson wrote the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. Okay, so this one is about 6 teens. Well, 2 of them are in college, but 4 of them are teenagers. This is YA. And they are on spring break. They're in an RV. They are going to Florida or wherever they're going. They're going south for spring break. And their RV gets detoured in the wrong spot. And then a sniper has basically said, hey, one of you on this RV has a secret and you need to spill it or I'm killing everybody on this RV. So they need to figure out who has the secret, how they're going to say it, and how they're going to survive. And obviously only 5 of them make out, so one of them dies. I liked Good Girl's Guide to Murder, but I like this one a hell of a lot more. I almost gave this a 4.5. Like, I was really, yeah, I like this book a lot. It's going to be a little different than Good Girl's Guide, where I felt like that one was more plot, whereas this one is a little bit more character. Not as much plot as Good Girl's Guide. But what I really liked about this book is that, first of all, it has a really good villain. Like, realistic good villain. I don't mean the sniper. I mean one of the 6 teens on the VR. On the VR? On the RV. Sorry. VR is something. VR is something totally different. On the RV. This person is a great villain. This book delivered on what it was promising, which was a thrilling plot. I was like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? It was exciting. The main character was a fantastic main character. Her name is Red. Her mother was a cop. She was killed in the line of duty, and she's once again, just like All My Rage, her father is an alcoholic now. He cannot take care of the family. She has to take care of the family now. She has all this weight on her. She finally gets an opportunity to take a break and go on spring break, and then this happens. And so she is dealing with a lot. This book is incredibly symbolic. It is just, it's a thrill ride. It's a little slow though. So once again, if you love Good Girl's Guide and you love like because it was really like quick paced. This one is a little slower, but it is
Mm-hmm.
such a good book discussion book. And I think it is probably one of the better mysteries than some adult mysteries that I've read. And I've been reading a lot of
Wow.
adult thriller mysteries. This book is better than some adult thriller. Did you read Good
You've
Girls
been
Guide?
holding out on me over here. Yeah.
Did you read Good Girls Guide?
Yeah.
Oh, you read all three of them?
I think I read the first one. I
Okay.
didn't read all of them.
Yeah.
I didn't read all of them. Yeah, that sounds amazing. I mean, I currently traveled in an RV for a year and I'm living in one right now. So
Oh
yeah,
no, I
like
forgot
that,
about
like
that.
I'm like
Oh
story
no.
of our lives. you know?
Can you
Oh my
imagine
God, it's so
6 people being stuck on an RV when somebody's got a sniper gun aimed at you?
great.
And
I
that's one
know.
thing that
Yeah.
this author does really well is that she really makes you feel like everybody is stuck on this in this really small confined space. That's one thing that she does really good. She makes you feel the smallness of it.
Like you're just all claustrophobic
Mm-hmm.
together
Yeah.
in this tiny little like 22 footer,
Yeah.
or something like that. Really small space. Yeah. Woo! My gosh. Well, my second book of the year. This has been one that I've been wanting to read for a while. This book is 5 years old. Like it was published in 2016. It's a whole series though because I just read the whole entire series by her. So it's called Rhapsodic. It's a Bargainier series by Laura Thalassa. I was just on a Laura Thalassa kick, I guess, this whole entire year. I've had a bunch of books I've been wanting to read by her. But this first book like really struck me just because it's about a siren who basically has some really deep, deep, deep family rooted issues that occur, and she calls out for help one night in the murder of her father, who was sexually like abusing her, and this um, God basically comes and he's like, well, if I help you keep this secret, like you're gonna owe me, type of a thing. Um, and so she's like, well, fine, like I just need you to do this. Like this man was awful. Like I need you to help me hide the fact that I killed my father or whatever. And so he almost becomes this like guardian of hers because she starts like calling on him because she feels so left out in just everything happening in her life. And so you see this progression of her being a teen and then she's now full on adult and is still like she's got like these black beads that just encircle across her arm, and it's basically all of these bargains that she owes this god. And so she calls in one of them, and she is introduced this whole entire like fantasy world that he's a part of, and he's like, listen, like I need your help because you have a power that I need, and she doesn't like to release this power because she turns into someone that she does not enjoy to be. So yeah, it's really, really good. I just finished the series, absolutely loved it. It is definitely, it's a fantasy, new adult paranormal romance type of thing. So it's not for young readers. You
It's
know?
spicy.
It is spicy, and the spice was
This
very
sounds
good.
this sounds good. Would I like it?
I don't know, Dawn.
Well, I can always
I
give the
don't
first book a
know.
try. This sounds fascinating. I've never read anything like this before. That's why I'm just like,
So the
hmm.
first book is really good. Now, I will say though that the second and the third is they're like trying to work through this whole entire, plot. I'm not going to give anything out of that. It does kind of like hit one note and it doesn't progress the way that I would hope it to be. But the first book is amazing because you're
Okay.
like, what in the world? Like, is this thing? And she gets like captured, and like, there's, this hidden being that basically is killing off and putting all these women like into this like sleep that is almost like a possessive sleep because they'll like awaken and just speak in like riddles and like all this other stuff, and you're like, what the heck?
Okay.
Whatever. And so the main character has the power to compel people to obey her because she's a siren. So that's like what her whole little gimmick is. But I really liked it enough to finish out the whole entire series. But again, the first book was probably my favorite out of all of them.
All right.
So I liked it.
Well, I know what your number one is. You probably know what my number one is. So let's just get to my number one. Is the Atlas?
Okay, yeah.
It's the Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. It is the highest rated book that I gave this year. I've already read Alice Paradox. I like that one, not as much as book one, but I did like that one as well. And you guys know what the Atlas 6 is about. I don't gotta tell you what this book is about, but I liked it because it was different.
Right.
It was, I have to say, it was an exercise in brain power. I will say that. Like, especially book two. Like, I would read a couple chapters and I would have to put the book down. I'm like, I just need to like decompress and like, because it's so much information that you have to process. And book one is similar to that. But I really like a character driven book. I don't like plot. I really like a character driven book, and this is completely character driven. Parisa, fabulous. Libby is my favorite character. She was pretty good in book two as well. She was a little annoying in book two, but for the most part, I liked Libby, and I liked all of them. I liked Callum. He was the villain, but I liked him as a villain. I just thought it was just an interesting story. I enjoyed everything about it. And I have found a new favorite author in Olivia Blake. I think she's fantastic. And yeah, highly recommend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of those who
Yeah.
liked the book. You either liked it or you didn't. And I'm one who really liked it.
Yep. Yep. I did like that book as well. My number one though, I liked more
We
than
all
I'll
know
say.
what it is, so just say it.
It's fine. It's Hosab.
Elsab.
Which House of Sky and Breath, which is Moss's second book in the Crescent City series. But I will preface this. If you are a new Moss groupie, you need to read, you really need to start with Throne of Glass and then Akatar and then work your way up because if you read Crescent City first, this whole world, you're gonna have some things that aren't gonna carry the same weight,
Yeah.
if you will. Like there's a bunch of surprises that happen within this book that, as someone who is an avid follower of her, and I forever will be until the day I die. Because I was a big fan before she was famous, type of thing, and now
Me
she's
too.
like all over the world, and you were too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Dawn and I both were. We were on the whole, you know, what is it, Throne of Glass groupie thing, like with all the theories. Like I have pages written out as to like how things are like interconnected when I was reading. And so there's a lot of theories behind Hosab and like who's connected to who. Is she going to interlace all of these worlds and realms that Moss is just so good at doing, leaving us all going, is the story really ending or is it not? But this particular series was a hard read for me because it was slower and there's a lot more plot and world building that is happening within this books. Her first ones that she's written is more of a good balance between character and plot. And so here it's like you're waiting for things to happen and you feel like it's taking forever, but she's reintroducing all these characters and these people are aligned over here and all of that. So it's hold tight. Just hold tight. You'll get there. Again, if you just really like sitting down with a big chunky world filled book with a lot of plot going on, this will be the book for you. I absolutely loved it. So yeah, I'm curious to see how it's going to end, to be honest. But
How many books are in the series?
I don't know. This first set is 2. They're putting out a third one, but we're not really sure what book is going to come out next because, you know, Moss just does that to us.
Is she still writing in the Akatar world?
There is yes, in a sense, yes. There is still a story that has not been told yet, and so there's a lot of speculation going on that the third book is going to be an intermix between Crescent City world and Akatar world. But we're not really sure because she kind of threw us for a loop when she was writing Akatar and thrown a mess, you know, like there's just a lot of things going on, but yeah, I'm curious to see how it's gonna go. And don't read the last page in the book. That's all I have to say, because I ruined one of the parts for myself because I flipped to see how many pages were in the book, and I saw things, and I wish I wouldn't have done that because
no.
oh wait, it completely ruined the like
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it
the
did.
little dingling at the end of the book. Like that's what you're left with, and you just gotta kind of go. And I'm like, the whole entire book, I'm going, why is this in here? Like what? Where is this going?
That
Terrible,
sucks. That sucks
absolutely
ass.
terrible. Don't look to see how many pages are in a book, especially if you know who characters these people are. That's all I
I
have to say.
always look to see how many pages in the book, but I make sure that I don't look at the words.
Girl, it I'm not going to spoil it because it is like the world's biggest spoiler, but I'm just saying, don't do it. So, yeah. But those are our top 5 each. Again, some of them you can hear our full thoughts and
Let's
debriefing
say,
on them in our podcast.
yeah, you can listen to our podcast of Sky of Breath and Sickness. What is it called? House of Breath and Chicken Wire.
House of Sky
House
and
of Sky and
Breath.
Breath.
You can also listen to All My Rage, and you can also listen to Atlas 6 on our podcast because we did podcasts for all 3 of those.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
And we hope you guys have a happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. Thanks for hanging out on the podcast in 2022.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.